Imagine this. You've crossed 50. You've lived enough life to know what real pain feels like, and what real love used to feel like. Maybe you went through a divorce that left you exhausted. Maybe you spent years alone, thinking the world had already written your romantic chapter for you. Or maybe you never expected love to return this late in the game. But then, out of nowhere, someone shows up. She smiles at you a certain way. She laughs at your jokes. She gives you attention you haven't felt in years. And suddenly, you feel something you didn't expect to feel again. Hope. That spark hits differently at 50 than it ever did at 20. You're wiser now, but you're also more vulnerable than you think. Because when a man over 50 falls in love again, he isn't just seeking romance, he's seeking revival. Validation. A second chance at youth, energy, excitement, purpose. And that's where the illusion begins. Late life love feels refreshing. It feels lighter than the relationships that drained you. It feels like a return to the version of yourself you thought was long gone. And that feeling is powerful. But blinding. You don't notice yourself lowering your guard. You don't notice yourself ignoring things you would have questioned years ago. You don't notice yourself slipping into a fantasy where love at this age is supposed to be simple, pure, effortless. But love after 50 is not easier. In many ways, it's more dangerous. Because now you have more to lose, emotionally, financially, psychologically. You're not just giving your heart. You're giving your time, your stability, your routines, your hard-earned peace. And without realizing it, many men fall into the illusion that this new love will fix everything: the loneliness, the regrets, the past hurts, the fading sense of identity. But illusions always come with a cost. For a man over 50, attention hits differently. You may not admit it, but after years of routine, responsibility, pressure, or loneliness, even a small dose of feminine attention can feel like oxygen. A compliment. A warm smile. A woman who actually listens. A woman who seems interested in your stories, your past, your ambitions. It feels refreshing, even healing. But here's where many men stumble. They confuse attention with compatibility. It's not your fault. Life at this stage doesn't give men much emotional nourishment. Most men over 50 have spent years carrying weight, family expectations, financial burdens, personal disappointments. So when someone finally shows genuine interest, it feels like proof that maybe, just maybe, there's something left in you worth loving. But attention is not alignment. Interest is not integrity. Chemistry is not compatibility. And this is where things get dangerous. Because when a woman gives a man over 50 even a little more attention than he's used to, he may misread the moment. He starts projecting, filling in the blanks, assuming the connection is deeper than it actually is. He convinces himself she gets him, even though they've known each other for a short amount of time. He starts imagining a future based on feelings, not facts. And without realizing it, he becomes emotionally invested in someone he barely knows. Many men confuse the feeling of being desired with the reality of being a good match. They mistake a woman's kindness for emotional intimacy. They interpret her curiosity as commitment. They take her presence as proof that she's the right person. But here's the truth. A woman can like you without being good for you. She can be attracted to you without sharing your values. She can enjoy your company while hiding intentions you haven't discovered yet. Attention is a spark, nothing more. Compatibility is the foundation, the structure, the long-term blueprint. And too often, men over 50 build a whole relationship on the spark instead of the structure. That's why they end up blindsided months later. Because the connection wasn't real, it was emotional mirroring, temporary excitement, or simply convenience. And by the time the truth shows up, they've already invested their time, their heart, and sometimes even their money. So the first major mistake men over 50 make is simple but devastating. They mistake being noticed for being understood. They mistake affection for alignment. They mistake chemistry for compatibility. And once that illusion takes hold, the next mistakes become even easier to fall into. There's a quiet truth about men over 50 that almost no one talks about. Loneliness doesn't scream, it whispers. It shows up in small moments, the empty house, the quiet evenings, the holidays that don't feel the same anymore. It shows up after divorce, after heartbreak, after kids grow up and start their own lives. It shows up when you've spent years being strong, only to realize strength can be isolating. And when a man carries that kind of silence for too long, he becomes emotionally starved, even if he doesn't realize it. So when a new woman enters his life and gives him attention, warmth, and consistency, something inside him wakes up. Suddenly the loneliness fades. Suddenly the world feels lighter. Suddenly he feels alive again. And that emotional rush is powerful, so powerful that many men make the same mistake. They move way too fast. They go from conversation to commitment. From dates to emotional dependency. From this feels good to I can't lose her. Not because she has proven she's the right partner, but because the feeling of being wanted again is intoxicating. Men over 50 often confuse emotional relief with emotional compatibility. They mistake the end of loneliness for the beginning of love. And the moment they feel understood, supported, or appreciated, something they may not have felt in years, they jump in head first. They start opening up too quickly, sharing personal history too soon, revealing vulnerabilities she hasn't earned, making plans based on emotion, not logic, allowing her into personal parts of their life too early, trusting her more than the situation deserves. It's not desperation, it's relief. It's that feeling of, finally, someone sees me again. But emotional hunger can turn any small gesture into something bigger than it really is. A kind word feels like commitment. A compliment feels like loyalty. A good date feels like destiny. And just like that, a man over 50 can go from cautious to committed in record time, because he isn't just falling for the woman, he's falling for what she represents. Company. Connection. Comfort. A second chance at being valued. But here's the danger. You can't build a healthy relationship on emotional starvation. When you move too fast, you skip the vetting. You skip the boundaries. You skip the slow, steady growth that real love requires. You jump into something that feels good without asking whether it is good. And this is exactly how many men end up attached to the wrong woman, long before they realize it. Moving too fast isn't a sign of passion, it's a sign of unhealed loneliness. And until that loneliness is understood and managed, it will keep leading men into relationships that feel like salvation at first, and devastation later. There's something powerful, almost addictive, about the way a woman can make a man over 50 feel young again. It's not just the flirting, the laughter, or the excitement. It's the sudden return of a version of yourself you thought you'd lost. For years, maybe decades, life has been predictable. Bills. Routine. Work. Responsibility. You started to feel invisible, even to yourself. But then she appears. She brings energy back into your days. She brings spark back into your conversations. She brings confidence back to your step. And with that rush comes the biggest trap of all. You stop seeing clearly. You start ignoring things that don't feel right. You brush off comments that didn't sit well. You dismiss behaviors you would have questioned years ago. You justify actions that would have been deal breakers in your 30s. Why? Because the emotional high feels better than the logical truth. For many men over 50, the nostalgia of feeling youthful again becomes more important than the reality of who they're actually dealing with. The excitement clouds judgment. The validation smothers reason. And the desire to hold onto the feeling becomes stronger than the desire to protect themselves. So they let things slide. She gets upset over small things. Maybe she's just emotional. She hides parts of her life. She'll open up when she's ready. Her story doesn't always add up. Everyone has flaws. She pushes for more commitment than necessary. She's just passionate. She hints about money, lifestyle, or support. Maybe she just trusts me. Little inconsistencies suddenly feel like misunderstandings instead of warnings. Little red flags suddenly feel like personality quirks instead of dangers. Because men at this stage aren't just falling for the woman. They're falling for the way she makes them feel. And here's the truth that's hard to accept. When a man is emotionally reborn, he becomes emotionally blind. He doesn't realize how much he's overlooking. He doesn't notice how much he's excusing. He doesn't see how far he's drifting from his own standards. All because the emotional reward is so strong. But there's a harsh reality. Feeling young again isn't the same as being safe again. Feeling alive isn't the same as making wise decisions. A man who ignores red flags at 50 pays a much higher price than he ever did at 20. The emotional cost is higher. The financial cost is higher. The recovery time is longer. The consequences are heavier. Because now, it's not just his heart on the line. It's his peace, his stability, his future, and everything he's built. Ignoring red flags is not a mistake of passion. It's a mistake of longing to feel significant, desired, youthful, and emotionally alive. And that longing blinds even the smartest men. There's a moment in every late life romance when a man starts to feel something dangerous. Not love. Not attachment. But certainty. Certainty that she's different. Certainty that this time will work. Certainty that he won't end up hurt again. Certainty that the loneliness is finally over. And certainty is exactly what makes men over 50 invest too fast, too deep, and too soon. Because once a man feels safe, he starts giving. Not just affection. Not just time. But resources, trust, and access. He opens up emotionally. He opens up financially. He opens the doors to his world long before she has earned the keys. And this is where many men fall into the most costly mistake of all. They give too much too early. They reveal their vulnerabilities. They talk about their past heartbreaks. They share their fears, their hopes, their regrets. They let her see the emotional soft spots she hasn't earned the right to hold. And emotionally, that creates a problem. You can't take back what you've already exposed. But the emotional investment is only half the danger. The financial side is where the real risk appears. Men over 50 often pay for more than they should offer support before understanding her intentions, help with bills, loans, business ideas, upgrade her lifestyle, introduce her to financial comfort she had no role in building, make promises without fully knowing her character. Sometimes it's generosity. Sometimes it's excitement. Sometimes it's the desire to impress. And sometimes, it's the silent fear of losing her. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When you invest too much too soon, you teach her that your value is what you can provide, not who you are. You condition the relationship to grow around your contributions instead of your compatibility. And once a relationship is built on what you give, it becomes nearly impossible to shift it back into balance. The tragedy is this. Many men over 50 aren't being manipulated. They're offering more than necessary because they want to feel needed. But there's a price for that. When you give prematurely, you weaken your boundaries. You lose your leverage. You create expectations you can't undo. You risk attracting someone who loves the benefits, not the man. You also become fearful of ending things because you've invested so much. Emotionally, financially, energetically. This is how men stay in unhealthy relationships. Not because they're in love, but because they've given too much and don't want to feel the loss. The harsh reality is this. Real love grows slowly. Manipulation grows quickly. Only one requires you to invest everything before you understand the person. And men over 50 often can't tell the difference until it's too late. Giving is natural. Giving is generous. Giving is masculine. But giving too soon? That's how men lose themselves. Something strange happens to many men when they fall in love after 50. They suddenly feel younger, lighter, almost reborn. And that feeling is powerful, but it can also be dangerous. Because instead of building a mature relationship, many men unconsciously try to recreate the version of themselves they were decades ago. Not the wiser, more grounded man they've become, but the energetic, impulsive, youthful version they believe she wants. And this leads to one of the biggest mistakes. Trying to relive their 20s. It starts small. You change the way you dress. You change the places you go. You change your routines, your hobbies, your lifestyle. Not because you actually want to, but because you want to match the energy you think she expects. You start saying yes to things your body, your schedule, or your peace can't sustain anymore. Late nights. Constant outings. Over-the-top romantic gestures. A pace of affection and availability that isn't realistic. It feels exciting at first, but it's not sustainable. And slowly, you begin to lose touch with yourself. Men over 50 often fall into this trap because love reignites their desire to feel young again. They think passion must look like it did in their 20s, fast, intense, dramatic, spontaneous. But here's the truth. Trying to be young again doesn't make you attractive. Being grounded, secure, and authentic does. When a man tries to compete with a younger version of himself, he creates an illusion he can't maintain. And eventually, the cracks begin to show. You feel drained instead of energized, you feel pressured instead of connected, you feel insecure instead of confident, you feel like you're performing instead of living. And worst of all, you stop being the man she was drawn to in the first place. Because she didn't choose you for your ability to act young. She chose you for your stability, your depth, your life experience, your emotional maturity. But when you start operating from insecurity, you erase the exact qualities that make you valuable. Trying to relive your 20s creates 3 major problems. 1. You create unrealistic expectations. She starts to believe this high-energy version of you is normal, when it's not. 2. You lose your authenticity. A man pretending to be someone else can't build a real relationship. 3. You build a connection based on performance, not truth. And performances always end. Love after 50 isn't about becoming younger. It's about embracing who you are now. Confident, experienced, emotionally aware, and capable of building something real. The moment you stop trying to recreate your youth, you become the strongest version of yourself. When a man over 50 falls in love again, something subtle and dangerous often happens. He starts reorganizing his life around the relationship without even realizing it. At first, it feels harmless. You make small adjustments. Shift a few plans. Rearrange your schedule. Spend more time texting her, calling her, seeing her. But slowly, something deeper happens. Your routines, your goals, and your personal standards begin to fade. Men at this age usually have structure. Not out of boredom, but out of wisdom. You've built a life based on what works for you. Your morning rhythm, your work habits, your health routines, your hobbies, your boundaries, your peace. But when love enters, many men make this mistake. They sacrifice the life they built to maintain the relationship. They think, if I make myself more available, she'll stay. If I become flexible, she'll appreciate me. If I give up certain things, it shows I'm committed. But here's the truth no one says out loud. When you give up your structure for someone else, you lose your value. Because your routine isn't just a habit. It's the framework that keeps you grounded, confident, productive, and emotionally stable. And once you start sacrificing that framework, these problems follow. 1. You become too available. You cancel your gym sessions. You let go of your hobbies. You stop spending time with your friends. You neglect personal time and personal growth. Your world begins to revolve around her presence, her moods, her schedule. At first she may like the attention. But eventually, availability turns into neediness. 2. You lose your purpose. Men over 50 who fall in love often slip into what feels like emotional retirement. They assume love is enough to replace ambition, goals, and personal drive. But when a man loses his purpose, he becomes unstable inside. And ironically, that makes the relationship unstable too. A man without mission becomes a man without direction. And a man without direction becomes a partner without backbone. 3. You lower your standards without realizing it. You tolerate disrespect you would have rejected before. You accept inconsistencies. You ignore your non-negotiables. You bend your boundaries to keep the peace. And the more you bend, the easier you are to break. Men at this stage often believe flexibility equals love. But flexibility without boundaries becomes self-destruction. 4. You stop being the man she respected in the beginning. Women don't fall for a man who disappears into the relationship. They fall for the man who had stability, discipline, confidence, direction, identity. When you reshape your entire life around her, you lose the qualities she admired in the first place. 5. You build a life that isn't yours anymore. And this is the biggest danger. When you abandon your routine and purpose for the relationship, you create a life that depends on her presence. If she leaves, you don't just lose a partner. You lose the structure that kept you strong. That's why so many men over 50 feel broken after breakups. They didn't just lose love. They lost themselves. Love at this age should elevate your life, not replace it. A healthy relationship fits into your life, without requiring you to erase the man you've worked decades to become. Falling in love after 50 comes with its own set of surprises, especially when it comes to the way dating works today. Many men over 50 approach relationships with the mindset of their younger years. They rely on old rules, chivalry, honesty, patience, and a belief that things unfold naturally. And while those qualities are admirable, they can be a serious disadvantage in today's dating world. Why? Because modern dating has changed. It's faster. It's more transactional. It's full of unspoken rules, hidden agendas, and subtle manipulations. And men over 50 often underestimate how much the landscape has shifted. 1. Misreading intentions. She may seem interested, but interest doesn't always equal commitment. She may enjoy your company, the attention, or the lifestyle you provide. She may be dating multiple people at once, keeping options open, or unsure of what she wants. Many men assume that if a woman smiles, laughs, and spends time with them, she's the one. That assumption can lead to heartbreak, because attraction isn't the same as intention. 2. Overlooking online behavior and modern communication. Texts, social media, and dating apps create a false sense of closeness. A flirty text doesn't mean loyalty. A quick reply doesn't mean she's invested. Likes and comments on social media don't equal exclusivity. Men over 50 often interpret these signals literally, instead of understanding the modern context, which leads to misjudgments and overcommitment too soon. 3. Ignoring subtle red flags. Modern dating allows people to hide true intentions behind charm, humor, and carefully curated appearances. A man over 50 might overlook inconsistency, small lies, or hidden agendas because he's used to trusting in-person interactions. But in today's world, surface-level charm can mask incompatibility or even manipulation. 4. Falling into comparison traps. Men over 50 often compare themselves to younger men or to their own past experiences. They may feel pressure to compete in a world that emphasizes appearance, vitality, and social media presence. This can lead to insecurity disguised as confidence, trying too hard to impress, losing authenticity in the process. 5. Overestimating emotional safety. Many men assume that because they are older, wiser, and more selective, they're safe from heartbreak or deceit. But heartbreak doesn't retire with age. Emotional manipulation can be even more subtle at this stage, preying on desire, loneliness, and nostalgia. One of the most common, and most dangerous, mistakes men over 50 make is stepping into a new relationship with unresolved wounds from the past. At this age, most men have a history: divorces, heartbreaks, betrayals, financial mistakes, or failed commitments. Some of these scars are obvious, while others are buried deep in the psyche. But here's the problem: old wounds don't vanish just because you find someone new. When a man hasn't processed previous heartbreak, he often projects fears, insecurities, and expectations onto his new partner. He may cling too tightly, afraid of being abandoned again. He may push too quickly for commitment, trying to avoid another loss. He may misinterpret harmless actions as betrayal. Unhealed pain creates blind spots, causing men to see threats where none exist and ignore real dangers. Many men over 50 unconsciously look for a partner to fix what's broken inside them, to fill the emptiness of loneliness, to validate self-worth, to distract from regrets. But no one can heal you completely. Relying on someone else for emotional recovery puts unrealistic pressure on the relationship and often leads to disappointment. Unresolved issues tend to repeat. A man who was overly controlling, insecure, or emotionally unavailable in his previous relationship may unknowingly carry those traits forward. Without self-reflection and healing, he risks recreating the same failures, sometimes even with different partners. Unhealed men often ignore red flags simply because they are desperate for love, comfort, or stability. They excuse behaviors they would have questioned years ago, believing the relationship will finally give them the fulfillment they crave. And this leads to heartbreak. When a man enters a relationship carrying unhealed wounds, it's not just himself who suffers, his partner does too. She may feel pressured to act as therapist, caretaker, or constant reassurance. She may unknowingly be caught in cycles of fear, jealousy, or insecurity that aren't hers to carry. After everything we've covered, the mistakes, the red flags, the pitfalls, there's hope. Real hope. Falling in love after 50 doesn't have to be risky, messy, or heartbreak-inducing. In fact, it can be the most rewarding, fulfilling love of your life. The key is awareness, patience, and intentionality. 1. Prioritize emotional healing before commitment. The first step is simple but non-negotiable. Take time to process your past. Reflect on previous relationships, understand what worked and what didn't, confront regrets and forgive yourself for mistakes. A healed heart doesn't rush. It evaluates compatibility, sets boundaries, and communicates clearly. Love is not therapy, healing is a personal responsibility. 2. Move slowly and observe carefully. At this stage, patience is your greatest ally. Don't confuse attention with commitment. Don't move in too quickly emotionally or financially. Take the time to see her patterns, habits, and character. Love after 50 is not a sprint, it's a measured, intentional process. The slow pace builds trust, alignment, and long-term stability. 3. Protect your identity and routine. Never lose yourself for the sake of a relationship. Keep your hobbies, friendships, and personal goals alive. Maintain your routines and lifestyle. Respect your own standards and boundaries. A man who knows who he is, values his life, and maintains his independence is far more attractive and resilient than one who molds himself to fit someone else. 4. Watch for red flags without excusing them. Charm, excitement, and flattery can be intoxicating, but they don't guarantee compatibility. Pay attention to consistency, honesty, and integrity. Notice how she handles conflict, stress, and communication. Observe whether her words match her actions. A man who sees clearly avoids the pain of avoidable mistakes. 5. Build a relationship on mutual respect and shared values. Compatibility isn't just about attraction. It's about lifestyle alignment, shared long-term goals, emotional intelligence, respect for independence, and boundaries. When a relationship is built on these foundations, it becomes resilient, able to weather disagreements, life changes, and external pressures. 6. Embrace mature passion, not youthful illusion. Forget trying to relive your 20s. True attraction comes from confidence in yourself, emotional stability, life experience, wisdom. Women over 50 appreciate men who are authentic, grounded, and emotionally available, not men chasing a younger version of themselves. 7. Communicate openly and honestly. At this stage, there's no need for games or assumptions. Be honest about your intentions, desires, and limitations. Discuss finances, health, lifestyle, and family early. Listen actively, but also enforce your boundaries. Clear communication prevents misunderstandings, builds trust, and ensures both partners feel secure. 8. Keep the relationship enhancing your life, not defining it. The healthiest love is additive, not subtractive. Your life should be richer with her in it, not empty without her. Shared joy should complement your independence, not replace it. Respect your peace, health, and self-worth above all.